Hi, this is Jeff from Airstream Nerds, and I have a problem. I love my lifetime coolers. When I get back, I'm going to talk about my brand new 115 quart lifetime cooler.
Airstream song, Airstream song. Cruising to the campsite singing our song. Airstream song, Airstream song. We are the Airstream Nerds. Yeah.
Those of you that have been part of our channel for a while know that I already have the 77, the 55, and the 28. They also have a 55 that has a handle and wheels and something that goes in between, which is a 65. But I really haven't seen them in the stores or anything like that as much. But the 115, I've been looking for something big, something I can put in the back of the truck and put a whole bunch of stuff in and not worry about whether we have enough room in the 77 or if we're going for a week and we want to just have a ton of drinks in the cooler, because basically that's what we keep in the cooler most of the time when we go camping. Although we tend to bring one cooler for drinks and one cooler for food until we get to the campsite, and then we put it in our refrigerator. So now we may be able to have one cooler for both. So let's look at the difference between the previous models that we already have and the new model. They are all certified bear resistant, which is great. These latches are the same. They are plasticky. They're rubber, but they're plasticky rubber, which is nice. They're not as floppy as like a rubber, so they've got something in it to make it a little bit more rigid than just regular old rubber latches. They latch the same. Now they do recommend you store them with the latches open, which I always do. That just keeps them from permanently stretching out. These coolers are made in the USA. Now, this cooler, unlike the other ones, has 3 locking positions. So you could put 3 locks on this thing, or just one, wherever, if you choose to lock your stuff up. I never use the locks. They have the same rope handles with the nice hard plastic grips to carry it. Although you load this thing up, it's going to be heavy. They have the size permanently made into the plastic of the cooler, the lifetime logo, and the sticker. They've got a 5-year warranty still. Now this thing says it fits 150 cans with ice and up to 10-day ice retention. Thick-walled, insulated body. You guys can read there. The cool new thing is the cutting board divider. And we'll go inside and look at that in a second. Now if you look over this side, they also have the same nice hard plastic drain, and that will actually fit a garden hose. So if you wanted to drain it, but you didn't want to drain it on your deck, your patio, or whatever, you can run a garden hose out into your yard or wherever and drain all the water out of the cooler then. Now let's look at the inside. The lid has the nice plastic hinges with the metal bar all the way through. And there's one end of the bar, and the other end they have the plastic pieces on there to keep it from sliding out. Now what this has that the other ones don't is a nice cutting board. Now, it's not very thick. It's probably 1/4 of an inch, if that. But it is a cutting board. I'm not sure that it's Teflon, but it's definitely hard plastic. And you have 3 locations for it. It slides in, the bottom fits into the groove, the little lip at the top fits into the groove, and it sits right in there. Now, as you can see, it's not waterproof, so you can't have dry storage on this side and wet storage on that side. You can see by the light going through that it will just fill up with the water. It'll level out. But it is a nice way to separate your drinks from your food, or maybe I don't know why we'd use it. We use it just to divide the drinks, just because we're a little OCD, but you can use it for other things as well, but just not to separate a dry from a wet area. The same gasket on the lid. It is the newer style gasket, not the original style gasket, so it does compress when it gets closed. It compresses on this lip. As you can see, it lines right up with that lip. Now, we have not used this cooler yet, and I cannot say anything about the 10-day ice retention, but I can also say that we have used these a lot, and while this says 5-day ice retention and 7 and 9, we feel like they all about have the same ice retention. Now, I do not think that you're going to see 10-day ice retention in the summertime unless you follow all the steps for this cooler. So what they do have attached to all the coolers is a little guidebook. And in this guidebook, they have the other coolers. They talk about all the stuff we've already talked about and what's on the sticker. But they have this tips for ice retention. And they basically want to say they use plenty of ice, you pre-chill it, you layer the cooler, you keep the lid closed, and you keep it in the shade. Now, we pretty much don't follow any of those directions. We put the cooler out in the driveway, we put a couple of bags of ice in the bottom of it, we throw stuff in, we put ice on top of it, we put it in the camper or in the truck, whichever way we do it. In this case, it's going to start in the truck and fill it up in the truck because it's really heavy for me and my wife to pick up. But we will, and it'll sit in the sun probably. Now, we have used these other ones exactly in that method, and it has been freezing ice cold for 3-4 days. We have parties here at our house, and we have the cooler. The cooler might sit out here for a week, and as you can see, it is early afternoon here, and I still have sun on the deck, but it sits here in the afternoon as the sun goes down, and this deck gets sun all afternoon. And it sits literally right there, and it is in full sun for most of the day, and after a week it still has freezing cold water in it. The ice is all gone, but freezing cold water, and the drinks are still all cold. So while I can't guarantee that these 10-day ice things and the 9 and the 7 and the 5 are correct, I do know that they work great. And the dogs agree. Little Daisy and Biscuit agree. I also want to say to you guys that the Yeti coolers are way better than every other cooler debate. While I agree that Yeti coolers are pretty good, you can't say that they're that much better than Lifetime, that you'd pay that much more for them. We have these Ozark Trails that we also got at Walmart, soft ones. We can throw these in the inside of the truck and have some drinks when we're traveling. Well, my wife got this from work. They had some sort of gift thing for the whole COVID, and everybody at their office got a little Yeti cooler, a little soft-sided cooler like this, and had it loaded up with little gifts, gift card for coffee, things like that. It's actually a really nice gesture. So this is the first Yeti cooler that we have ever owned, and we just used it. It is the Hopper Flip 18. We just used it. Now, this is what we used to put in the truck, so we decided to use the new cooler. Didn't pay nothing for it, so it was a great deal. Well, I can tell you that in an air-conditioned vehicle, for a 6-hour drive, not sitting on the floorboard of the vehicle, sitting on a pad spacer that we put in behind the seats for the dog beds in the back seat. This is sitting up on top. By the time we got to where we were going, the ice that was in this cooler was pretty much all melted. Identically, this is the exact same thing. When we use this one, it's the same experience. So you can see the inside of this is insulated. It's got the foam stuff just like the Yeti. And you can see that while the Yeti has the same kind of look, it is a little neater, a little cleaner, much better put together than the Ozark. And this foam is a little thicker. It's a lot thicker than what they have in here. Yet both of these coolers work pretty much the same. So I'm not sold on the Yeti is better than everybody, or all these other rotomolded type coolers are so much better than everybody else. Maybe there's enough of a difference for people that don't have a refrigerator or don't have other means of keeping their food cold. But we have had great experience with using these in all kinds of weather, all kinds of conditions. So we are fans, and we will keep using them until we learn otherwise. My new Lifetime 115 quart cooler. I love it. Once again, this is Jeff.
And Jenny.
And we're the Airstream Nerds. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, put any comments below, and we'll see you on the next trip.